Good afternoon. My name is Anna Winans, and I am the Outreach and Change Management Lead for the New York State and Local Retirement System. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Retirement Online webinar, where we are excited to field your questions about working in retirement online. We've organized this webinar in order to answer questions on readiness and working in retirement online. To make sure we're covering as many questions as we can, we have broken this webinar into 3 different sections. We will start by showing you a demonstration involving member enrollment and answer any specific questions you have about that topic. We will then show another demo about what you may encounter when submitting a report. We will pause again to answer any questions after that. Finally, we'll cover any questions you have about how you can best be ready to work in retirement online the day we go live next spring. So let's get started with our first demonstration around member enrollment.
All right, thank you, Anna. My name is Jordan LaJoy, and my counterpart here is Rebecca Fisher. While Rebecca gets that presentation or that demonstration booted up, what we're going to take you through today is effectively a walkthrough of what you might encounter the first day when you go to report in retirement online. So as Anna said, we're going to start with submitting a report, maybe running into an enrollment item that needs to be addressed, and then going from there. So we're going to imagine right now that I am Dale. You can see right on the screen. And it's day 1. We've gone live in May, and we're looking to submit our first report into retirement online. So to do that, we're actually going to go to the Access Reporting dashboard. Now, one thing that you may see, if you don't have access to this button, it means you probably don't have the correct security. You will need to have the employer reporting uploader in order to access this dashboard. Now, I've got my report already, so we are actually going to begin submitting that report through a file upload. We are going to demonstrate the file upload today. That being said, much of what we talk about will be applicable to those employers who create manual reports as well. So the first thing we need to do before we upload our file is enter the report date, which is going to be the end of the month, and then all of our totals and sums. So Rebecca, I know that there are some issues that employers might encounter here. Would you mind talking about those a little bit?
Yes, thanks, Jordan. So the most common error that I encounter as a transition coach on this page is our total payments line. So total contributions, total loan payments, and total service credit are the 3 lines that get put on this total payments line. So earnings is excluded there.
Yeah, and so it's really important to make sure that these match what are in your file. Otherwise, you are going to get a file level error, which we'll talk about in a second. So now we're going to browse for our report. We're going to locate it on our computer, and here we go. We have our August of 2018 earnings report, and we're going to upload that. Now we're going to click Initiate Report. And what you'll notice is we go back to our employer reporting dashboard, but the actual report that we just initiated isn't here yet. If that happens, it probably means that it's processing, so we're going to click Refresh. Now we've clicked Refresh, and we see that our report went to success with file errors. Now we cannot submit a report with file errors. We can't progress past this point. In order to be able to successfully submit this report, we're actually going to need to address those errors. In order to figure out what those are, we're going to go to the Error Details link. Now over here we can see that we actually have 2 file errors. We have one error message that says the SSN doesn't match, and we have another one that says the registration number does not exist. So that SSN not matching probably means that something was miskeyed in the report. We can address that at the report level. We'd open up our report, our text file, and just make sure that everything matches as expected, because chances are it is not matching. And on the other side, we have the registration number doesn't exist. What this probably means is that we're trying to report a member who hasn't been enrolled at this location yet. Now, we only have 5 lines in our report today, but there are some employers who we know have hundreds or even thousands of lines in their report. You'll notice that it gives us a row number, but for the item where the registration number doesn't match, it also gives, where the SSN does not match, it also gives us a NYSLRS ID. Now remember, this NYSLRS ID is the new unique identifier that we'll start using. Many of you who are on the legacy reporting will only have that NYSLRS ID available to you, so you may want to actually be able to go back and look at your report and figure out, well, I know the NYSLRS ID, but what's this reg number? So we're actually going to show you how to get that now. So in order to get the registration number that the employer would already know, as well as the contribution rates, we're going to go to the member contribution rates page. Now over here, once this pulls up, you will see the contribution rates and reporting information for all of your active members. So that first NYSLRS ID that we saw, we could actually look that up, and we could figure out what that member's contribution rate is. We could figure out what their registration number is as well. One really important thing to point out over here that is going to be really valuable is the ability to actually export this particular page. So if you go down, Rebecca, would you mind pointing that out?
Right here.
If you click that button that Rebecca is circling, that actually allows us to export this page to Excel. You now have it for your records. If you'd like to, you can print it, or you can search through the Excel document. We would recommend that employers do this right up front so that you have this information available to you. Now, we are trying to enroll someone whose name is, or report someone whose name is Samantha Summer. So we can also, because this is a relatively large list, we can search for her on this member contribution rates page. When we go ahead and click search, we see that Samantha Summer isn't at this location yet, which means we probably need to actually go through and enroll her. In order to do that, we're going to go back to our account homepage. Oh, the employer reporting dashboard. Sorry, can we go back one more? There we go. Now we're back at the account homepage. Now, everything that we've covered so far has been from the perspective of an individual with the employer reporting uploader role. Now, moving forward, we're going to look to enroll Samantha Summer. Now, in order to do this, we have to have someone who has the personnel security role. In this scenario, I have both of those roles, so we can go ahead and do it. But if you are an employer reporter and you need someone to be enrolled, you may need to go find the individual in your organization with the correct security. So when we click the Access Enrollment Dashboard, we enter our location code in the retirement system for which we are enrolling Samantha. We go ahead and click Next. And now we'll enter Samantha's basic biographical information. And now we're going to go over and enter Samantha's job information. This is what actually helps the system determine whether Samantha's a mandatory or optional member. And if she needs to be enrolled, will give us the information necessary to enroll her. Now, I know we get a lot of questions on the job code here. So, Rebecca, would you mind talking a little bit about job codes?
Sure, there's a couple of things to note here. First off, there is a job code tool, which is found on the Employer Learn More page. So you can always access that, but we were talking earlier today and thought a great example of a job code that may not necessarily match up would be a librarian. So if you're a librarian, you can't find that exact job code within our system, then since it's not under a special plan, then a general employee code could work.
Exactly. So these job codes are all about making sure that we can map that employee to the appropriate benefit plan that they need to receive. So we're not going to have that one-to-one match. In this case, we could use a general employee if this was a librarian. It's not. I think Samantha's an equipment operator.
Yes.
Yeah. So we go ahead and click Next. Before we actually submit this, we will get a confirmation. It'll just show us all the information we entered. We do have the ability to go back and edit, but this all looks good. So we'll go ahead and submit. And it looks like we've got a loading icon. Do we ever see that, Rebecca?
We see this often. This can take minutes, everyone. I just want you to know that this is being updated live, so it's not an instant process, so just be patient when you see this icon.
Yep. So there's a lot of system processing going on here that is actually, in this case, enrolling Samantha because she's never been a part of NYSLRS before. So. And finally, we get our enrollment results. So we get Samantha's NYSLRS ID, we get her employment record. The fact that it's a 0 actually tells us that Samantha is a new NYSLRS member. We will also get her registration number, contribution rate, and tier. Now, one of the important things to note is that Samantha is someone we're reporting retroactively in this particular scenario. So we're reporting her at the end of August, and she started at the beginning of August. It's really important to make sure that you actually report Samantha's earnings for the month of August now so that NYSLRS can actually calculate what it is that she would owe, so her expected contributions. But one of the really important things, Rebecca, right, is to not...
Don't double up. Don't try to make that up right here. Let the case trigger as it would within the system, and we'll send you a notification.
Yep. So NYSLRS will make sure to notify you of what you owe as long as you report those earnings, or what the member owes as long as you report those earnings. All right. And so now we have officially enrolled Samantha. And so this finishes the first demonstration. We will pick this up once we're done talking about enrollment, and we'll continue with our journey to upload this report.
Thanks, Jordan and Rebecca, for that demonstration. All right, we will now begin taking questions about member enrollment and the scenarios that were just demonstrated. So let's get into those questions now. We have 20-year retirement for our PFRS 384D. I just took a webinar that led me to believe that I need a specific code so as to denote this special plan. Did I understand that correctly?
Hello, this is Margaret Barbarisi. I work in the member registration area. As far as someone being eligible for a special plan, what you need to be concerned with is to pick the appropriate job code. As long as you pick the appropriate job code, we do have logic that if anyone with that job code working at a specific location, if they are entitled to a special plan, they will be mapped to that special plan. So just keep in mind, you're not looking for a special plan to pick, you're looking for the appropriate job code for the position.
Which job code would I use for a transportation employee? Bus driver or bus attendant?
To enroll, this is Alicia Sullivan in the member registration area. To enroll these members, you would use the 03600E general employee job code.
Our next question is about the timeline presented in this webinar. According to the timeline, applications after February 28th will not be processed until the completion of the retirement online upgrade. How will that affect the contributions for new hires? How will that affect reporting online starting in May?
Hello, this is Margaret again. And yes, we are going to stop processing any applications after February 28th just for the backlog purposes and just trying to get everything in order prior to go live. What will happen is we are going to send actually another email notification out to you as employers to indicate, please, if you have optional members, continue to fax in those applications to us during that downtime, which will begin March 1. What we will do is we won't be able to register them to membership, so we won't provide numbers as far as registration numbers, dates of membership, etc. What we will do is we will send in a fax back confirming the applications that we did receive. So if you sent one for Jane Smith, we will acknowledge that we did receive one for Jane Smith on the date that you faxed it in. Also, if there's any missing information on the registration application, we're going to ask that you provide it then. So then when we do go live, we'll be all set to register them. We ask you to do this for optional members because certainly we want to establish the earliest date of membership for these folks. If you wait until we go live and they were optional for that period, we won't be able to retroactively enroll or give you that earlier date of membership. We are going to ask during that dark time that you do not fax in mandatory members. We ask that you hold them until you go live, because once we do go live, you can certainly go to Retirement Online and register them yourselves, because as you know, you will not need to submit or upload an application for mandatory members. Their dates of membership can be retroactively established to the date of hire because they would meet mandatory requirements for ERS. Mandatory requirements are that someone work in a 12-month permanent full-time position earning at least state minimum wage. And as you know, all PNF members are mandatory on day one, regardless of the appointment type. Obviously, people will be in an arrear situation, and we are taking that in mind. So what we will do is when the people do get registered, we will reach out to the employees to notify them of any contributions that they are in an arrears situation. So we will catch up on that. And we hope that you're patient with us during this time.
All right, our next series of questions are regarding NYSLRS ID numbers. First, is NYSLRS going to send the new ID numbers to be entered into the employer's already existing systems? Is it okay to begin that work now, if that's the case?
Hi, this is Beth Wicks from Employer Services. I think in the demo you just got, you saw how you would get the NYSLRS ID for your existing members by downloading the member contribution rates page. And then in the demo of registering a new member, you would get both the registration number and the NYSLRS ID. So if you choose, you can enter the NYSLRS ID, and I would also suggest the employment instance into your system. However, with the employer reporting, and I do see we have a lot of questions about this that are coming up, you're not going to change your format. You are going to report all your members using the registration number only.
And just a quick reminder, on that member contribution rates page, you do currently have access to the training environment. Please do not use the NYSLRS IDs or the data that is in that environment and actually load it into your system. That is a training environment. That is also training data. So you will need to look in Production Retirement Online after we go live in May. That's where you'll actually have the up-to-date registration numbers, NYSLRS IDs, contribution rates, everything else that you could need.
Right, so when you download that and you go to submit your first report in May, should you have any errors or warnings, again, what was in the demo, you'd be able to match that up using that information. But again, do not change your file format at all. Can't say that enough.
What happens if I attempt to enroll an employee who is already a NYSLRS member? Does the system provide this information to me?
Hello, this is Margaret, and we call this a subsequent employment instance. And yes, you will be provided the necessary information to report, such as a NYSLRS ID and a contribution rate.
Our next question is about enhanced reporting. Do we add the NYSLRS ID to our monthly report? Can we get the list of IDs? Oh, again, can we get a list of IDs before the first report in May? So we answered part of that question. Is the thought that they will now add NYSLRS ID to their current monthly reports?
This is Beth again. No, you will not change what we're calling the legacy format. You will still use registration number, and that's it.
All right. And is there any correlation between the civil service job codes and NYSLRS job codes?
Hello, this is Margaret, and no, there is no correlation. The job codes were just created by NYSLRS.
Okay, and now our next question, again in regards to job codes. Since I work at a library, would it be correct to look up other librarians and clerks and use the job codes that they are using for our new employees?
Hello, this is Margaret, and no, you're not going to be able to see what other employers use as far as job codes, but just be assured that if you use a general employee, that certainly will be fine.
After go live with Retirement Online, is the NYSLRS ID going to be required on every monthly report, or will we then just need to provide registration numbers?
This is Beth again. So the NYSLRS ID will not be required until you get to enhanced reporting to put it on a file. And you would also use employment instance when you're using NYSLRS ID as well. Those are two of the new key identifiers.
Very good. Our next question is regarding new membership applications. If new membership applications are not being processed between March and May, do we wait before we start taking contributions?
Hello, this is Margaret, and yes, please wait before you take contributions. Once you get confirmation from NYSLRS that they've been registered, provided with the date of membership, NYSLRS ID, registration number, contribution rate. At that time, you begin taking deductions. Anything that is due prior to that, it will be addressed by our arrears unit.
This is Beth. I'd like to add on to that as well. If you're holding, because of the applications waiting, when you have to go back, if the date of membership, I'm sorry, you're not holding, when the date of membership is, say, March 1st, and you're not reporting them until May, we want to make sure that you are actually reporting those members when they started working and that we don't have missing information. So remember also that we can't report missing information via adjustments. They have to be done with a regular report.
All right, our next question is, once I enroll a member using Retirement Online, do I have to mail in the paper form?
Hello, this is Margaret, and no. As I indicated, for mandatory members, if you're doing it online, as long as you fill in all the required fields, no membership application is ever required. You can certainly keep it on file for your reference. As far as optional, you will be asked to upload the document at the time you are processing the membership application online. Once that document is uploaded, again, just keep it for your own reference.
Thank you. Next question, am I able to print a copy of the enrollment confirmation page for that employee's folder?
Yes, you can print that confirmation page for your records.
You can also actually view that information on a new hire summary as well.
So the next is a request for clarification. Am I to understand that we can no longer register a member on the day that they are physically working?
This is Margaret. I'm a little confused by the question. I can tell you that obviously everyone's date of membership has to be a day when someone is working, because that date will equal service credit. So if someone is not working on their date of membership, we cannot establish a membership date. If you have a follow-up to that question, because I'm not addressing it, please reach out to us and I'd be happy to address it at that time.
All right, our next question is regarding location codes. When will agencies with new location codes have the green tab to enter data into all the dashboards? We have a new location code and I have all the authorizations but no green buttons.
Hi, so this is Jordan. If you are one of the location codes that recently split, you may not have those tabs in our training environment yet. So we're working on that, and we are in touch with all of those employers. Now, if you are not a location code that is recently split and you're talking in the production retirement online that is live right now, those tabs will not be effective or will not be there until we do go live in May. So all of the reporting functionality will not be there until May.
Okay, our next question is around the dark days. Will NYSLRS be waiving the interest charge for members in arrears after the dark period is over? And will NYSLRS reach out to those employees affected?
Hello, this is Margaret, and the interest will not be waived because the membership has to be made whole, which would include any interest that is due. We're hoping that the interest will be minimal at best, trying to get them registered as soon as possible once we go live. And yes, we will reach out to the members, advising them that there is a deficiency in their account, and we will quote them a cost for paying those mandatory arrears.
All right, another question about membership applications. Can the date on the membership application be prior to the start date, I'm guessing, of employment? And can it be uploaded before the start date? Again, of employment, I'm assuming.
Hello, this is Margaret. Certainly, if you know someone is going to be registered to a mandatory membership, you can enter the criteria. The mandatory membership will never require a document be uploaded. As far as optional, would be the only person that would require an uploaded document I am not sure if you're asking about part-time folks or sub-seasonal per diem on-call. I know we do allow people that are part-time to be registered in advance. I'm not sure also about this question. I'm sorry, I may be speaking in circles, bear with me, but can you clarify this question again? I'm not sure if you're looking to address this concern prior to go live or you're looking after. So if you can just reach out to us again to clarify the question, because I don't think I've really addressed it.
We can go back and address it. So one of us will follow up and get clarification on that question.
Thank you.
All right. So I think someone's asking us to reiterate our response regarding the mandatory member. So if we have a mandatory member and we do not withhold retirement contribution until we go live in May, will NYSLRS contact the employee about their arrears? Is that the plan? Is the plan that NYSLRS will contact the member about any arrears as a result of dark days?
Hi, this is Margaret, and yes, we'll certainly reach out to the members. It will be our responsibility. You will not have to go and begin deductions. We'll contact them directly like we do now, asking them if they want to make a lump sum payment or payroll deductions, etc. If they do request payroll deduction at that time, we will reach out to you regarding the arrears deductions.
All right, this is going to be our last question right now until our next section. So the one last question is a request for clarification. So on May 1st, employers will be enrolling their new staff all at once. Do employers then have to wait until they hear from NYSLRS regarding contribution amounts? And how quickly do we, NYSLRS, plan on getting everyone enrolled?
Hi, this is Margaret. Certainly, as soon as we are up and running, we want to work as quickly as possible. Bear in mind that we do get about 1,000 new members a week, and we will be stockpiling since March 1. We will do our best to address everything as soon as possible. As soon as we register someone, you will be provided with that date of membership contribution rate immediately. It will be overnight. There is some logic as far as what plan a person is in, but you will be provided with the information immediately that you need to start reporting.
Excellent. Thank you, Margaret.
Anna, this is Lori. I wanted to add to that. With regards to the saved up registration forms from March 1st until May when we come up, again, we're encouraging you to hold on to the mandatory membership forms. Please send us the optional ones because our internal staff will have the ability to backdate an optional enrollment to the proper date. That's why we're confirming that by fax. For your mandatory members, employers with the personnel role will be able to, when we come up, go through your pile that you've saved for those 2 months and enroll people on the spot. As soon as you complete each enrollment, you will have the information at your fingertips. You can then apply the registration number and begin to take the contributions going forward. We will be looking at all the people who enroll during that time period who might, because of their hire dates, really have a missing period of service. We will be reaching out to employers to get you to report that service or provide that to us so that we can cost the arrears for your members. That will be a priority for us. We do understand that this is an interruption of normal business, but this system upgrade, we haven't done something like this in over 30 years, so hopefully we won't do it for another 30. So just bear with us. We will work as quickly as possible, but the sooner that you can actually complete your enrollments, the sooner we can get started identifying those members and following up with the getting the information we need to calculate the arrears so we can get those deductions started. And as Rebecca mentioned earlier, do not double up the contributions. Just take out the regular contribution rate going forward from when you enroll them. We will let you know what the service credit purchase amount or arrears amount is. And the more quickly we can get that attended to, the less of an interest burden it will be for your employees.
Okay, very good. Again, thank you all for your questions. To make sure we can cover a range of topics today, we'll now be moving on to our second demonstration. Our next demonstration, Jordan and Rebecca will lead you through retirement online reporting.
Perfect. Thank you, Anna. So in the previous demonstration, we attempted to upload our report, but we ran into a couple file level errors that stopped us from being able to do that. Now remember, one of them was an SSN mismatch. So offline, we went in and we fixed that SSN. The other one was that we were trying to report an employee who had not yet been hired or enrolled at the location. We fixed that with our last demonstration by performing that enrollment. So now our report should be good to go. Now we need to actually go in, and now that we've fixed these file level errors, we need to re-upload our report. So we're actually going to repeat the steps that we started with before. So we'll go ahead and we'll click Access Reporting Dashboard. We'll click File Upload. And we will enter our report date. Notice that we're using the same report date. We didn't successfully post this report, so we're doing it again. We've updated our totals to make sure that everything is correct. Our total record count is 5, and now we're going to browse for that updated file. All right, now we're going to initiate it again. Now this time around, you'll notice that it does not appear at the bottom of the page in submission status details. So if we actually refresh, we'll see, yep, we've got it up there at the top. We have that report date of 8/31/2018, and the status is initiated. That's a good thing. It means that we don't have any file level errors, and we're good to proceed with this report. Now, we need to actually go into that report. We've only initiated it. We haven't submitted it yet. So now we're going to go in and we're going to take a look. Now in here on our report summary, we can see all of those sums that we previously entered. Now down at the bottom in the error and warnings count section, we'll also see that there are actually a fair number of errors and warnings associated with this report. Now one of the things that we want to emphasize is that errors and warnings are not something to be afraid of. They're not necessarily a bad thing. All that they demonstrate is that what you are reporting is different from what the system is expecting. Now these are what we call business errors and warnings. Rebecca, would you mind talking a little bit about the difference between the error and the warning?
So the difference between errors and warnings, typically a warning, it's just fine to submit your report with. You have to go back, make note of these within your payroll. And you won't actually be able to clear off a warning here, because if it is what you reported, if it is what you, how you took your contributions or what have you, then you want that to stay the same. An error, however, will be removed from the file. So that being said, the employee who shows an error against their line, if you will actually be removed from the file if you submit.
Absolutely. So it's really important that whatever you ultimately report is what was reflected in your payroll. So if you get a warning about a loan payment that was incorrect or some contributions that weren't correct, but that came out of your payroll system, you need to report it as is, and then take some follow-up actions later in order to correct that for the future. Now, in order to get some details on those errors and warnings, we're going to go to our Errors and Warnings tab, and here we can actually see all of the errors and warnings that exist in this report. So we can see we have a couple warnings for contributions for Jane Smith and Danny Jones. We see that we have some earnings errors for Robert Baggins, and then we see also some warnings for Robert and others. We can actually see the details on this page of the errors and warnings. Now this is another page where you can export that data to Excel. It's really important, especially when you have errors, to make sure that you have a record of that. Once you do submit that report, you're actually going to find that that error line will drop off. It's only going to submit all of the completely correct rows or the rows that also have warnings. So this is a great place to export so that you have record of that error, so that you can then follow up later on, figure out what's going on, correct it, and then you actually have the ability to submit that person again. So next, we're going to go back up to the top of the page, and go to the Report Details tab. There we go. Now over here you can see the 5 rows that we're submitting. It's very similar information, but this is a summary of what's actually being put into this report. You can see again, in the status column we have validation warnings, which again we'll go through, and then we have that validation error on Robert Baggins. Now Robert is because he has negative earnings, which we can't actually submit on the report. Now chances are that came out of our payroll system. We need to go in there and figure out what's wrong, fix it in our payroll system, and then re-report Robert. Now one of the things that you can do on this page is actually dive a little bit deeper into each of these rows being reported and see the details of the report for that individual. So we're going to click View Edit next to Jane Smith, and we can actually see what's being reported for Jane. Now in this case, you'll see that we also have a warning up at the top of the page, right? And what this warning is telling us is that the contributions were for less than the required amount, and it's also telling us that in the future we need to update the payroll system to withhold 6% on Jane's earnings so that we have the appropriate contributions. Now again, the contributions that we reported here is actually what we withheld in our payroll system, so we need to submit this report and then go into our payroll system after we're done submitting the report and update the payroll system so that next month we're withholding the correct contributions for Jane. All right, so at this point we can return to the dashboard, and we're going to seek to actually submit this report. So we're now back at the report summary page, and over here you'll see that we still have our errors and warnings. One thing to keep an eye on, that record count is currently at 5, but we're going to agree to submission of this employer report. Now one of the things that I may have forgotten to mention earlier, all of these pages that we're going through now require what access?
Employer reporting submitter.
Right, so earlier when we uploaded and initialized, that was employer reporting uploader. This is employer reporting submitter. A lot of employers have the same role, some don't, so only the submitter will actually be able to complete this part. Now we're going to go ahead and click submit. And again, just in case we didn't see that warning, for example, you will be notified that you're attempting to submit a report with a warning. Now we've already exported this warning, we're keeping track of it, we're going to follow it up on it in our payroll system and make sure that everything's good. But if you hadn't looked at this yet, you would click no here, go back and make sure that you preserve a record of that error so that you can follow up and then resubmit for that particular individual. In this case, we're going to click yes, and our file has been submitted. Now, Rebecca, there are multiple statuses that people may see up here in the report history. Can you tell me some that don't, or mean you're maybe not done?
Once you get success, a lot of times prior to this, we were working the submission status section, which is below the refresh button. So when you see success, a lot of times it's like, hooray, we're done, but you're not. You have to move up. And that initiated status is signifying that you still have some more steps to complete. So you go in, complete those steps, and you want to see posted, which you can see right here under report status.
Yeah. So our report's now posted, NYSLRS has this data, and all is good. But you can actually always go back and look at that report, and we would encourage you to do that. So we're going to actually go ahead and do that now. It's the same step as before. We're just going to click on the report date, so our 8/31/2018. And now we have our post-submission process. This page looks very similar. You'll notice the fields aren't editable. We can still see that this report was submitted with warnings. We can see all of the appropriate totals. But if we actually go to our next tab, Rebecca, there we go, into the report details, you'll notice that we only have 4 rows now. So we had, I believe it was it Danny Baggins before?
It was, yes.
So we had Danny Baggins before.
Robert Baggins.
Robert
Sorry,
Baggins, thank you.
Baggins.
We had Robert Baggins before, and he was the one who was actually uploaded with an error. You'll notice that he's dropped off this row. And this is why it is so important that you keep track of those errors, because Robert Baggins is not here anymore. So now that you've submitted the report, you'll need to go back and follow up and figure out what went wrong, correct Robert Baggins' data on your end so that you can then report him accurately. All right, so now that we are back at our reporting dashboard, one thing that you as the employer may want to do is you may want to actually look at the improper withholdings. So you got all of those errors or really all of those warnings that told you you've taken maybe incorrect contributions or incorrect deductions. We can always go back and look at those items. So if you actually do click improper withholdings, which Rebecca just did for me, when you go over here, we can search for all of the improper withholdings at your location. One really nice thing to be aware of is that you can actually search by report ID. So if you only wanted to see the improper withholdings that came in on this most recent report, you could actually enter that report ID. It would show you all of the improper withholdings. And here is our list. Now, here's a good example. We've got this first row, we have a pre-tax contribution, and the excess amount is $10, which basically means that you reported that you withheld $10 too much. Now, Rebecca, what would this employer be expected to do in that scenario?
So that means that the employee that this $10 was taken from their pay is actually owed that money, so that would be refunded to them.
Right, so when that was reported, NYSLRS isn't going to take that money. If it's not owed, we're not going to take it, which means that now you'll, in addition to going in and correcting your system, right, because you maybe are withholding too much on those contributions, you'll also need to actually go back as the employer and credit this back to your employee because that's their money, right? That came out of their paycheck. We need to make sure that that makes it back to them. But since NYSLRS didn't take that money in the first place, that's going to be your job as the employer to make sure that, well, in this case, we have scrambled data, but name person, we need to make sure that name person gets that money back. And on the employer reporting side, Beth and Patty, is there anything else that you would like us to hit on in that particular scenario?
Reiterate when we were talking about the answering the questions about making up contributions. This is exactly, you will not be able to do this. That's why it will go to the arrears or service credit purchase account. So even if you tried to submit that, you don't want to do this because then you're going to have to make a correction and all sorts of other things. It's better to just do it right from the start.
Exactly. Thank you. So the one other thing that we can go and do is we can go and actually look at our notifications that tell us that this report was submitted. So if we actually go back to our dashboard, we can go back to our account homepage now, and you'll see up here in the top left, that's the notifications pane. And within that, it actually does tell us that our report has successfully been uploaded and posted. Now, as the employer, this is where you're also going to see any other types of notifications that you need to be made aware of. And if you do actually click into that notification, so we click in, and we just get the notification that that report was submitted. At this point, we can either close it, remove the notification, or we can actually go ahead and view that particular report. And so with that, we have covered our reporting example. So Anna, back to you, and we'll take some reporting questions, I think.
Excellent, thank you. We will now begin taking questions about the scenarios that Jordan and Rebecca just demonstrated. All right, our first question. How do I format a file for submission? Is there a way I can do a test to see if it meets the requirements?
Hi, this is Rebecca. There are actually some practice webinars, refresher courses going on right now that you are able to participate in. Along with that, we provide all the materials you would need, including instructions on how to create that file. And while you can get that within the webinar that you sign up for from the Learn More and Get Ready page, you can actually access it there as well.
All right, our next question. If a town has an outside payroll company doing their payroll, can the payroll firm do the reporting maintenance, or does someone from the town have to do it?
Hi, this is Beth. It's at the discretion of the security administrator to assign the employer reporting security roles. Any individual with the employer reporting uploader and submitter will be able to submit the report on behalf of the employer. In general, however, we recommend that the employers maintain their security such that an internal employer staff member is the one responsible for validating and submitting the report, which is the last step.
Thank you, Beth. Does NYSLRS have the specs for the enhanced retirement reporting file that we need to provide to our payroll company to achieve gold level?
Hi, this is Rebecca again. Yes, we do. On the Employer Learn More and Get Ready page of the NYSLRS page itself, you can access that information under the gold certification section.
Excellent. Thanks, Rebecca. Another employer writes, I have just over 50 employees. Will I be able to enter my enhanced report manually instead of uploading a file?
Hi, this is Beth again. Regardless of the number of employees that you have, you may enter them manually in the enhanced format if that is your choice. We'll be working with employers to determine the best path for their transition to enhanced reporting. If you would like to be considered for manual reporting and enhanced, please let our help desk know and we will make sure to have the conversation with you. Just always understand that you can always do adjustments manually as well.
All right, another question. What is the difference between standard work period and payroll frequency? Definitions of each field would be very helpful.
This is Beth again. The standard workday is the hours used for that position by resolution as required by law and is used to calculate the number of reportable days for that member. The payroll frequency is how often the employees are paid, whether it be biweekly, weekly, monthly, etc. Typically, in our experience, employees are paid biweekly.
Thank you, Beth. Another question. Dates we must use for which parts of reporting? Which dates must we use for which parts of reporting?
Hi, this is Patty Schachter from Employer Services. For your monthly report, you'd use the month end date.
Thank you, Patty. Our next question. If I enroll an optional employee, would the optional employee have to be added to the monthly report?
This is Beth. Yes, anytime you enroll a member, you must report them. If you're using enhanced reporting and you have an employee, then you also must report them.
Okay, our next question. Will I have to enroll existing employees who are not currently participating in NYSLRS? For example, optional employees. And how will they be reported?
This is Beth again. Once you move to enhanced reporting, that will be part of the process is to enroll any of your optional employees. You may find out actually some of them were mandatory. We hope that's not the case, but it very well could be. And then you would continue to report them on a monthly basis or whatever their pay frequency is. You might have some semi-annual or annual employees that were not members.
All right, our next question is regarding dark days. Let's see, can NYSLRS clarify the reporting of employees on the monthly report that have no registration number or contributions being taken because they fall within the March to May dates for membership? Are we only reporting salary?
This is Beth again. Yes, you would only be reporting wages. As we explained before, any contributions that are owed for those months would be going to arrears or service credit purchase for those members. And we do encourage you to review what you've reported for those members and make sure that you get all of the months up to date for them.
Okay, and this is an add-on to that question. Does that mean that we wouldn't fix any errors associated until after we submit the report? Is there anticipation that there will be errors because
Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you have errors, you could take those members off of the report and submit them at a later time once you're able to figure out what those errors are and correct them. You should be concerned if you're able to do this and make sure that you remember to fix those errors and report those members. We certainly don't want members to get left off and have missing service credit that you might not discover till the end of the year or another time period. So we encourage you to do whatever works best for you in the time that you have and the information that you have available. That's also why we pointed out that it might be a good idea for you to go to the enrollment dashboard and get all of that information up front before submitting the report.
Okay, just to clarify, who is reporting monthly? Is it the employer or payroll provider?
It depends on how you have your security roles set up. We do have some employers who have a company that does their payroll, that creates the file and uploads it, and then that employer, somebody from that organization, from the participating employer, goes ahead and actually submits the report. They attest to the correctness of the data. For many of our employers, everything is done in-house, and it's just people in the organization, in the participating employer, that do that themselves.
Another question about error messages. How do we report just one person? Say, for example, only the person that had the error.
You can use a monthly report with just a regular monthly report with just that one member on it, or you could go in and manually submit just the transaction for that one member if you wish. Again, if that member was never reported for that time period previously, you cannot adjust that data. You have to do a monthly or regular report.
I have one final question regarding reporting, and that is specific to loan and also looks like could be contributions as well. How does an employer receive notification that a loan is about to be paid off so we do not take too much out and then have to refund it? There is a, so somebody want to address that question?
So I believe that the start, stop, and modify notifications for loans will actually be delivered directly to the employer notification dashboard. One of the pages that we also did not point out is the loan and service credit purchase deduction change page, which is another location where you as an employer could navigate and you could see that there was a change to your employee status. So long story short, if a loan is paid off, you will see that in the notifications, and then there is also a dedicated page that will tell you as the employer of any expected changes to the loan or service credit purchase deductions that you are taking from your employees' paychecks.
All right, there's two more quick ones. When will we start using the enhanced reporting format?
Okay, we'll be transitioning employers to enhanced reporting. If you're interested in doing that, again, contact the Retirement Online Help Desk. You know, we're not going to put everybody on it right away, but our goal is to have everybody on it in 2 years so that all of our processes going forward will benefit from all of the information that we collect in enhanced reporting.
But the enhanced reporting format becomes available on Retirement Online on what date?
So the enhanced reporting format will become available to employers as they transition. It's actually something that we have to flip internally. And so what Beth said is really important, because I've seen this question pop up a few times. Unless you already know otherwise, you will be reporting using the legacy reporting format when we go live in May. Otherwise, we are working directly with a small group of pilot employers to report using the enhanced format, but even within that group, most of them will actually start reporting in the enhanced format in June.
Okay, one last quick question on reporting. Currently, we receive a check for any overpayment and then refund the employee. Will this still happen in Retirement Online, or do we just use the report from the improper withholdings and refund the employee?
Hi, this is Beth again, and yes, you would use your improper withholding report to refund the withholdings to the member. And I'd like to add on to what Jordan said earlier too with the loan payment. We do have some timing issues. Occasionally the notifications should be really up to date. I will say that the process, we will do our best to not accept money not owed to us, but that you may not know it in advance to not take it out of somebody's paycheck, because you may have paid them. If you're on a lag payroll in particular, you may have taken it out of their paycheck 2 weeks ago, and so we may not know about it 2 weeks in advance, so you don't take the loan. But then you'll get to the situation where this question pertains. So now you go to submit that file, and it says that the loan was paid off, and you will have to refund that money back to the member.
So I am seeing one other question here, and I just wanted to make sure that we were being really clear on dates. This is Jordan again. I saw a question that said RIR goes offline effective for 3/1/2019, and that is not accurate. we are starting to stockpile the registration applications that are received, is it 3/1/2019, correct, Margaret and Alicia? But Beth and Patty, could you just talk a little bit about when RIR, which is the reporting application, will go offline?
Okay, so as you all should know, it sounds like we have a lot of submitters currently on this call. The monthly report is due by regulation on the 7th of the month following the month end date. So right now we're into February, and the February 28th report would be due on March 7th. When we go live, we will be also looking at the March 31st report that would be due on April 7th. RIR will be coming down on April 12th. That will be the last day that you were able to submit your reports in RIR or adjustments in RAR. We in the employer reporting area would greatly appreciate it if you can get your reports in on time. It is so important because you want to make sure that we had a lot of questions about arrears and service credit purchase payments, that if those reports are not timely and they have to wait until May, that could create a service credit purchase situation. Loan payments that you have deducted from employer or from member paychecks would not get applied, etc. So we really need all of your assistance to get those reports in by April 12th this year.
Thank you, Beth. Before we sign off, we have time for a few questions regarding go live readiness as we all get ready to begin using Retirement Online in May. And we are going to try and get through as many questions as possible. All right, regarding go live readiness, this is our first question. I would appreciate information about when we might be able to expect a refresher on the online training done in 2018 and possibly some training I attended in 2017 in order to be ready for the Retirement Online system.
Hi, this is Rebecca. Refresher training is available now on the Learn More and Get Ready section of our website. As part of this refresher training, you have the option to sign up for refresh and retrain webinars to practice reporting or enrolling members in a new system. You can also complete a self-paced training or access a training environment and practice on your own using the practice scenarios available on the website.
Excellent. Rebecca, a follow-up for you. In addition to the information that's out there, is there a printable step-by-step guide regarding member enrollment and manual employer legacy reporting that we discussed today?
Yes, these and many others are available online at our Employer Learn More and Get Ready page. Additionally, once you sign into Retirement Online, you may also click the help link that's on the top right corner of the screen. From here, you can access simulations and job aids for member enrollment and employer reporting. If you'd like some extra practice or hands-on help, you can complete self-paced training or attend a practice session as well.
All right, and here's a question from one of our many Silver certified employers. I am Silver certified. When am I required to use the new format and the new sign-in?
So you'll be using Retirement Online for reporting in May. April 12th is the last day, I know we just discussed that you can submit a report using RIR. If you have any concerns regarding the process, we encourage you to take advantage of the refresher sessions.
If for any reason you're not able to find the information on the refresher sessions, please just call the help desk and they're happy to provide you with a schedule of those. Our next question, do you plan on sending out a step-by-step information card that we could follow?
We have many resources available now on the Learn More and Get Ready section of the NYSLRS website. This includes training manuals and Get Ready guides. These resources are ready to go and you can access them and print them now.
And actually, one of the items, this is Jordan again, one of the items that Rebecca and I didn't point out as we were running through our online simulation is that there's actually a help link inside of Retirement Online. Once we go live, you can click that, and we have demonstrations as well as fully printable job aids that you can follow for all of these transactions and more that we've talked about today.
Okay. Our next question is, should all employees be enrolled at the time of go live before payroll runs the retirement report for April?
This is Beth. Again, I think this is how it works best for you. You can, it's a good idea to have as many of these people enrolled as possible before you submit your April report. But if you are unable to do that, you want to submit your April report and then enroll those members and submit them on a separate file, you can do that also. I'd like to reiterate, our goal is that you get everybody reported in whatever way you choose to implement it, and not leave somebody off the report. So do whatever, in whatever order you need to do to make sure all of your members get reported to us, please.
Thanks, Beth. So, just to be clear, will we, NYSLRS, be providing a nice little cheat sheet on all the steps needed to do a normal monthly report? And by normal, I'm assuming we mean a legacy monthly report. Can we do a cheat sheet, folks?
Hi, this is Rebecca again. Depending on what you consider a cheat sheet, we do have step-by-step instructions already posted on the Employer Learn More and Get Ready section of the NYSLRS website. So you can access that, and that will take you through step-by-step of what you will need to do for a regular upload.
All right, and then this question, I'm not entirely clear on what it means, but I'm going to ask it because you're all far more experts than I am. What if someone is already a member? How do you just add them to our organization?
Hi, this is Alicia Sullivan. So the way that you would add your organization basically to the member's account would be to go through the employer self-service retirement online pages. And once you put in their biographical information, it will realize that that person's already a member here. And then you'll go on to the job data pages or job information pages and put in your job. This would be regardless of tier. So if you think about it right now, you're only sending us non-tier 6 applications if someone's in a special plan for us to update their plan, or all tier 6 members. But going forward, once we go live with this new upgrade, what you'll need to do is send us this information for all tiers. So just to stress that, it's really important. But basically when you enter that new job information, it will provide you with a pre-existing NYSLRS ID for that member, but you'll have your own employment instance that you would be reporting this person under.
Subsequent employment instance, right? It's like
Yes.
learning a new language. All right. Let's see. We've managed to confuse someone. So it says, I'm confused. You say that Retirement Online goes live on May 1st, but you also state that it will take 2 years to transition everyone. I currently submit our report via RIR. Will I be able to continue that method of transition after May 1st?
So this is Jordan, and this is just some confusion between submitting the legacy report that you currently submit today into RIR, into Retirement Online, and transitioning to our enhanced report. Starting in May, every single employer will be submitting their current legacy report into Retirement Online. When we talk about that 2-year window, that is to transition employers from the legacy reporting format to the enhanced reporting format. So again, everyone will be reporting in May in Retirement Online.
Our final question the question is, will we offer this webinar again? So I can answer this one. First, let me tell you that this webinar has been recorded and it will be posted shortly after today's session so that you can reference it at any time. It's been recorded in its entirety. And in addition, we will be offering more of these types of webinars. They're called Ask Me Anything webinars. We have, they are very well attended, and they are very much something that we use to help address the most frequently asked questions that we receive as we plan for Go Live. So if you have ideas for additional webinars and you haven't communicated that to us already, please do that. And we are happy to take that all into consideration. So we will be scheduling more Ask Me Anything webinars. You need only stay tuned and make sure to sign up for one. All right. Just again, I want to thank all of you for spending some time with us today. NYSLRS is committed to providing you with the resources you need to start using the new Retirement Online for member enrollment. It is critical during this period of transition that you keep your contact types and security roles up to date in our system, as these individuals will be receiving targeted messages from us related to their work. Now is a great time to also refresh your knowledge about working in retirement online. Rebecca talked about the resources that are available out there. Please take advantage of them. Visit the events section of our Learn More and Get Ready for Retirement Online page to sign up for a refresh and retrain webinar, and see recordings of our previous Ask Me Anything webinars, just like the one you've attended today. The Learn More and Get Ready page also has many additional resources, including printable guides and access to self-paced training. Please continue to check back as we add more and more content. And on behalf of all of us here at the New York State and Local Retirement System, we thank you for visiting with us, and we look forward to speaking with you again very soon. Thank you.